This movie is filled with twists and turns and surprises, and I think one of the biggest ones in the very beginning is finding out that this sweet girl who just loves the color pink, is responsible for an incredible crime, which is pushing Kamuta's son off of a roof. And so when Kamuta is coming on the train to find the person responsible for this, the very last person he expects to be so twisted and dark and capable of something so horrible is this sweet looking young girl who just looks like a nice college student. And so I think that's what Prince is so good at. She knows that she's underestimated, and she also knows that that's an advantage to her. So she uses her sweet looks and her tender voice to get her way and get what she wants. And it gets her into a lot of trouble, but also gets her exactly where she's looking to go, which sometimes is trouble. I've got a lot of scenes with Andrew Koji that ramp up emotionally and that have a lot of stakes to them, which is so much fun because Andrew's character, Kamuta, is so like disturbed and upset and just like stressed the whole time, and it's just so like down and just distraught. And my character, Prince, could not be having more fun with that fact, could not be more excited that this man's life is falling apart in front of him, which is why it's so interesting to play a character like this. I get to play around with emotions and with just different kinds of feelings that I've never had before. And it's really quite fun. But our scenes together vary so much from just brutal emotion and just heartbreaking stuff to being absolutely hilarious and everything in between. So we have a lot of range, our characters. Me and Andrew go through a lot of stuff together, but he's such a great scene partner and we have so much fun. And every time I step on this set as Prince, I know it's going to be a great day because this character could not be more fun to play. It is so just exciting to embody her. I, of course, knew who David Leitch was before coming to this. I'm a big fan of him. I think it's so, like, what an amazing transition going from a stunt choreographer and a stunt coordinator to then, like, one of the coolest action directors ever. He's so smart and he's so calm, cool, and collected. And being able to watch someone who has just the weight of the world on their shoulders, like a movie like this, there's so much stress and so many moving parts that go with it. And he just has like the most chill demeanor, always down to joke around and chat with you if you're there. Like he's really, really something else. It's awesome to watch him do his job. It's pretty incredible being able to film on this set. The way they built the train and everything. I've actually been on a bullet train, took the exact same path from Tokyo to Kyoto. And so it was kind of crazy when I first got this script because I was like, oh my God, I just did this. Like I just went here. And so I have to say, like this train is exactly the same as basically the one that I was on. And it's so cool to see all the details in the train and all the details and everything. And we've got the awesome LED screens with the city lights going by. It is such a beautiful, intricate set for how small it is and how limited it is. It just blows my mind at the attention to detail. Brad is so just everything that, you imagine and hope Brad Pitt to be. He's like the nicest person. He's so professional, so wonderful to everybody on set. And just really fun to play around with in scenes. He's really a great scene partner in the way if you have an idea, he's like so excited to try it and to like play with the scene with you. And if he has an idea, it's really fun to just collaborate with him and see what he wants to do and where he wants to go. He's just all in all, I would just say a really chill dude. And I'm so excited and thankful that I get to be part of this movie with him. What do I think people like about this movie? I think people, what the hell is there not to like about this movie? We've got so much. I think the greatest thing about this movie is obviously action-packed, obviously has incredible fight sequences and like great action, but my God, this movie is so funny. This movie is gonna be so funny, and I cannot wait to see the way David so brilliantly does marry comedy and action together in this like beautiful harmony that's just gonna be hopefully everyone's favorite film, because filming it sure has been one of my favorite experiences.
Many things about Bullet Train. I mean, David Leitch, I think, and Brad definitely spearhead the this project. But you know, just reading this and having just laugh out loud response and humor. It's unapologetic. It doesn't take itself seriously. It really plays upon maybe sort of plays upon sort of stereotypes and then flips them on their head, and you know, we take themes and give them a twist, and it's just enjoyable entertainment. I am so fortunate and blessed to be able to be opposite Brian Tyree Henry. He is one of the most talented actors. I've enjoyed watching him in so many different projects in TV and in film. I admire his work. I admire him. He's such a beautiful human being. I love him to bits, and I honestly couldn't have created Tangerine without the influence and the bounce I get from Brian. Tangerine and Lerman are funny because the circumstances are so ludicrous and it's so haphazard and mental. They're trained assassins. They're obviously, they've lost their marbles a little bit. They're both a little bit on edge. They're also extremely dangerous. But what makes them funny is that they bicker between each other. They're brothers, they're partners, they're like husband and wife. They just, you know, there's just this constant back and forth. David Leitch has proved himself time and time again that obviously his action and action comedy movies play extremely well and are funny and great and enjoyable. So when you put a great script like Bullet Train and you put David Leitch on and put Brad and start sprinkling in great other actors like Joey King and Zazie Beetz and Brian Tyree Henry and many others, it's you're just building the best team up, you know, and Michael Shannon, of course, and many others. Ladybug's very sort of, you know, a Buster Keaton character, so accidentally stumbling across things and then getting his own way in the end, and then haphazardly getting through, you know, unlucky, you know, falls on things and everyone else dies around him sort of situation. It's an action-packed, entertaining, full-on comedy that's just got twists and turns and surprises with a phenomenal cast of actors.
Who doesn't want to play an assassin? Like, who does not want to play an assassin? Like, somebody else other than Liam Neeson should be an assassin. So I just remember seeing their code names and was like, oh, that's just perfect because this makes absolutely no sense as code names for assassins. But then I started peeling back. I'm gonna do a lot of these, just so you know. There's gonna be a lot of fruit references. Once I started peeling back who they were fun. Like, they were actually like, they weren't like these blunders. They weren't like, you know, like these old cartoon characters like Bebop and Rocksteady, like Bruce going around and doing. They were actually like really smart. They really cared about each other. They're fun, and I wanted to jump into it. Plus, any opportunity to kick ass in a movie, to be like in an action movie where you're like trained assassins, like you can't say no. This movie is like from beginning to end was just fun. Like even reading the setups and the direction, I was like, okay, there's a snake. Okay, all right. This impales somebody through this, and it's just like it's a classic David Leitch. So it's like I wanted to definitely jump on that. Lemon is honestly incredibly genuine. Like he is the most genuine, childlike, joyous psychopath you've ever met in your life. He's you know, it's very clear that he's always stuck out in life. You know what I mean? It's very clear that he's always, entered a room and you can't miss him. But at the same time, there is this kind of ease to him. He's incredibly intelligent. But he's also incredibly like intimidating. Like, like he's pretty much the guy that can get the job done. But I think that's why pairing me with Aaron was so perfect because uh, Aaron's tangerine is crazy. like it's like he plays him in such a great. There's a finesse that Aaron has when he plays tangerine. I mean, he's in a three-piece suit. You know what I mean? He's got his football socks on. He's got his knuckles, and he's just like really just that fine wine of sociopath. You know what I mean? Like he's like the Chianti of sociopaths. Like so it's like the two of us together is so eclectic and fun and just like the oddest pairing, but at the same time it works so well. What's really dope about this production is the way that we have really kind of like reinvented the wheel on how to film a movie because like we're back on the lots and like there's different train cars. Like I was said to somebody, I was like, it feels like we're back in like 1930. Like how they used to do, like everyone is moving this train and turning this train. And there's a first class train, and then there's a Momomon train, and then there's the economy train, and then there's the train with all the bodies. So it's like it's really interesting how every day you walk on set, it's a completely different environment. I don't know if you've ever had to fight someone for your life quietly, but it's not it because it takes place on the quiet car, which I'm never on the quiet cars when I'm on trains because I'm loud as hell and I want to talk and I don't want. But we happen to be on the quiet car and we have to fight. Like this is it. Like I get the word that this is the guy that I have to beat his ass. And the choreography, between David Leitch and Greg Rementer, man, it was so I learned it took me about a week. It took me about a week and 2 weeks to learn this fight. And I'm just gonna tell you the most distracting part of the fight is Brad's hair. David Leitch he has a reputation of making movies that are fun, that are loud, that are bloody, that are fast. But also what I think that this movie has is Brad Pitt. You're gonna see Brad Pitt in a different light. You're gonna see all of us in a different light. I mean, the cast is unbelievable. Like we'll talk about an ensemble. Like this movie has everybody. Some people that didn't even. I'm still surprised every day of who's in it. I'm like, wait, they're in the movie too. Like that's. But I think that's the thing. You sign up for this ride. It's like the title is gonna give you exactly what it is. Like it's gonna sit right down in your lap and just give you like nonstop, fast-paced action and fun the whole time.
Really, initially, I've had an opportunity to work with the director David Leitch before and his wife Kelly McCormick, or her husband David Leitch, who produces, and she's producing this film with him. And I just had such a wonderful time on Deadpool 2 with them. I kind of just wanted to hop in and do this project because I thought it would be sort of another family feeling. And basically the whole crew is from Deadpool 2. So I just thought it'd be really fun. And then reading the script, the cast involved is obviously incredible. And I have a super fun kind of cameo thing and also sort of, to be doing something lighthearted and fun. And it's genuinely funny. It just was really appealing to me. And to kind of have this sort of kick-ass cameo seemed like a good choice. I really enjoy, in general, films that are sort of in a heightened, playful place, and even visually, the colors and how they pop, and from what I've seen, the clips I've seen, the acting it's sort of playing off of stereotypes of what I think he's kind of like spy whodunit movies are like, and so I think. Yeah, I mean, the story, I also really enjoy things that sort of intertwine and interweave, and there's multiple kind of A, B, C, D kind of storylines happening on this train when they're all essentially bound by this one case. And I like sort of these, like, all these different things that then become one in the end. I just always find really fun to watch. He's a great director. I think he's really comfortable, obviously in the action space, but then also in the comedy space. And, I think sort of beacon of light is he's really down to collaborate. He's always tossing, he's never married to the script, and always tossing in ideas and lines, and allows you to contribute. And like, he's offering and you're offering, and you're kind of always building off of each other. To come here and really feel like, oh my gosh, I'm like relaxing and playing. And I think Brad makes that really easy. He's, I think, he also is, I think, very inclusive of like ideas and things to play with. And he himself, I think, is very playful in his work, and is relaxed in his work, which, there's something very wonderful about someone who's like confident and just easy.
It's well written. The character, the dialogue's punchy. It reminds me of something like a Tarantino, with the punchy back and forth kind of dialogue. And then also there's elements of Korean drama. There's comical moments. It's got like this huge mix of so many different elements. And what's fascinating about it is that that was on the page, but then you add all these great actors involved and these brilliant visuals that David's bringing. And I'm a lot of the films that a lot of the projects that I normally do, I don't really want to see it because I'm very critical of my own work and all that. But this one, I'm like, well, I really feel like this one could be something special. I personally, that's how I feel. This character, I just felt like when it came, I was like, I've never seen someone with my ethnicity do a character like this, and this big kind of thing. Like he's troubled, he's quirky, he's different, he's going through stuff, he's flawed, and yeah, because most of the time, you see the silent ninja, you see the stoic samurai, you see the those kind of things. But this is a regular guy, low-life criminal, alcoholic, going through stuff. And I just knew it. I felt like I knew this was something special for me. David's a genius in this stuff. Like, seriously, he's his eye. He's a very sensitive dude. I can tell deep down. Very intelligent, and you can always see him working, his gears turning. That's what I love. And I got no doubt whatsoever the action's going to be amazing. The 8711 guys, Greg, and the stunt boys, they're all going to do. I think they're going to make it interesting regardless, And Brad, I'll say, from what I've seen so far, he's doing something I've never seen him do before. This kind of action and the way he's playing it. There's fun, there's elements of fun, wackiness, violence, grit, and stuff. It's a lot of interest. He's a real sweet guy. Nothing like his characters that he plays. He always plays these kind of stoic kind of characters. He's a legend, man. Like I've seen The Last Samurai so many times. I mean, what a great film, right? I mean, God, and his performance in that, he hardly talks, but I remember him. You know, he made such an impact for me in that film, and I've seen him growing up in Hollywood, as I've been growing up in all these Hollywood films, and I've always thought he's great. He's got this great energy, this great, like, he's got this quality about him which is amazing. And but then he's just this sweet, lovely, regular, quirky guy. Joey's really British. She is, I mean, she's like 21. She's a little kid, really. But she's so, I mean, she's growing up on film sets, like, you know, and she's so sharp, professional. Like, I'm kind of looking at her going, Jesus Christ. When I was 21, I was not that well put together. I was all over the place. I wouldn't be able to do what she's doing at 21. And she is incredibly giving as an actress, very professional. She's sweet and good energy. She's a good person, which I think is so important. And she's really good to work off. She's experimenting with her character and finding out and fine tuning it, and I'm fine tuning my things, and we're trying to play off each other and find it. For me, Brad is a legend. The films that he's done, the ethos, the kind of, he represents to me the good part of Hollywood.
I love this script because it has great tempo and also, you know, including suspense, drama, action with comedy. Great balance as an entertainment. Yeah, I was so excited when I read the script first time. Fate is a very important theme of this movie, and a lot of assassins or the people seeking revenge on the bullet train, and their pasts and presents weaving in and out. So very interesting, complicated, but yeah, so exciting. Elder is a florist, and yeah, looks like Kimura, Elder's son, Kimura, is working with him, but you know, he's a only son. Kimura is the only son for Elder, so Elder has high acceptation for him, but Kimura is an alcoholic, so there is some tension between them. But I think this kind of things is like a universal theme. So looks like ordinary family, ordinary father and son at the beginning. Oh yes, I've been watching his movie for a long time, and I've been waiting to perform with him a while. So yeah, even I met him during the camera test. He was so, you know, open and very friendly. Yeah, of course he's a great artist, but also I felt like a great person. And I'm so excited and really looking forward to working with him on set. Somehow I felt the chemistry when I first met him, and then first time rehearsal together. As if this wasn't our first time to working together. So I hope we can show to the audience the bond as father and son naturally. That's our goal. And he's a very hard worker and very serious man, but also very funny. I'm so enjoying working with him on set.
The wolf, the wolf, the wolf. Oh, the wolf, the wolf is a badass. Is a guy who is loyal, right? Is loyal. Is a family man, and I think he's just looking for vengeance and revenge. Work with Brad Pitt, that was amazing. A really magical experience. Sometimes I felt like a kid playing a game. Work with a guy that you has been watching on the screen your whole life, and now you are acting with him. That's very amazing. No, David Leitch, that's my man. He's an amazing director. I'm very grateful with him, because this is my first experience on Hollywood, my first movie. So I'm very grateful that he's the director, because without him, it's not the same. He helped me a lot. He make me feel like comfortable every time. When I get into the studio and I saw the train station, I was in LA like 2 minutes ago, and now I'm in Japan in a train station. Was like, this is gonna be serious. So crazy experience for me. Roller coaster of emotions, yeah, because it's very, very entertaining. There's a lot of action, and my reaction was like, I just wanna watch it again. So I don't know what people gonna feel, gonna react. I expect that they like it like me.
Bullet Train is a modern-day fable about fate. 7 assassins board a train, each with specific agendas, not knowing that their destinies are intertwined. It's really a fun action thriller set in a heightened world with crazy, bombastic characters. Each fight is unique to the character, and I think we want to use the fights to define character. Obviously, we wanted, in this movie, the fights become sometimes comedic moments, but they're always sort of driven by character. We were really fortunate to get this incredible, star-studded global cast of characters. I think about the performances we got from Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson, bringing Lemon and Tangerine to life. I remember Joey King's, first reading with us, and it was really emotional and satirical, and all these levels of acting that, you just weren't expecting. One of the amazing things about Brad is he's so incredible with character. And early on, he had some really brilliant revelations about what he wanted to bring to Ladybug. Ladybug is this character who's in an existential crisis and maybe in sort of self-therapy mode. He's looking for a guru to guide him through this new life that he wants to lead, and that's Brad brought in that idea. And like, it really helped define not only Brad's character, but the theme of the movie. And that just shows you what level of an actor he is. Like, he really was like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna strike a bold pose for my character and do something really provocative and fun and big, but it's gonna be on theme, and it's ultimately gonna heighten everybody. And it was just a really brilliant insight, and so grateful that he brought that to Ladybug's character. We made this movie for the big screen, and recently I got to see it on IMAX, and it's incredible. It's beautiful. I think the subtleties of the performances, the Easter eggs in the frames, the boldness of the production design, the detail of the cinematography all comes to life in this really big scale format.
In this case, I read the material first, Zach's amazing script. I gave it to David. I actually sort of talked him into doing it because I just thought it was so crazy and modern and fresh, and, you know, an opportunity for him to do something that was more character-based than action-based as far as his career goes. It's still got a lot of action in it, but it's a little bit less than some of the other movies that he's made. And I just fell in love with every single character, and I was like, we got to do this. So that's where the producing started, and I talked him into it. And then we ended up, you know, putting a great cast together. You know, and a great filmmaking team who is, you know, filled with a lot of the people we make a lot of our movies with. And then trying to make it during COVID and figuring out, you know, all of those obstacles with Sony and, you know, the amazing production team that we put together. So it was really soup to nuts on this one, producing. It was crazy. I mean, you know, the process of putting the movie together was super complicated, as they always are, but in this case, maybe even a little bit more. We are mostly location-based shooters, so that notion that we were like going to use LED lights and shoot this virtual production thing was like, okay, like, and then what that entailed, which is like, you know, the beautiful part of it is that you have to spend a lot of time up front developing the environment so that you can play it while you're shooting it and then not have to replace it. And that's a lot of forethinking of what your backgrounds are going to look like, and we didn't even get to go to Japan, so it was like based on, you know, sort of like research and, you know, our amazing production designer and visual effects team, our production designer David Schuneman, and you know, our effects team, putting you know, the sort of ideas of what our version of sort of Tokyo in our world sort of could look like before we even started, I mean, barely making the trains, you know, and then just the construction of putting the series of screens around the train and how much square footage that takes and how much, you know, kind of planning that takes was just like honestly a feat of engineering that was just really super inspiring. How that came to be is really David Schuneman's idea. Like, he's like, we gotta have a mascot. And he showed us these trains of Pokemon or Hello Kitty that actually exist on bullet trains in Japan. And, you know, they theme it up like to the 11, like they just go all the way and it's wild and everything's there. And the kids go on those cars and they make whole trips to just go on the car and be in that world. And we were like, wouldn't it be funny if we created a world that was based on this like little, you know, bugger that we create? And he got a Japanese artist as part of his team to start conceptualizing with him. And we had a lot to choose from, but it ended up that the pink furry ears really, you know, took it home for us. I think we want people to experience just the wild ride that it is for what it is. Let go, let it take you on the crazy gonzo journey that it takes you on. And then if you want to take back a couple of little notes about, sort of fate and, the ways of the world, and that it's, okay to not be in total control, that's okay too. But I think it is an absolute theatrical, original, brilliant, bold, beautiful film that has actually more to tell in the storytelling than you would ever in the visual storytelling than you would ever expect.